How goes it? Thanks for joining us here at Quick Fix Smartphone and Tablet Repair in West Berlin, New Jersey. Today we're going to be working on refurbishing an iPhone 6 LCD. Basically, we're going to be taking damaged glass off of a functioning display. This is our tester device, and this is the display that we will be working on today. As you can see, it's a little banged up down there, but otherwise seems to be working fine. So we're going to go ahead and power it off. Don't forget to disconnect the battery with a spudger. And you can go ahead and disconnect the LCD and digitize your display. And we can set that aside. If you want to go ahead and warm this up on your heat tray to about 85 degrees. Alright, this is going to take about 3 minutes, so we'll be right back.
Alright, got Matt here. I'm gonna show you guys how to get the frame off this bad boy. Okay, that is really hot.
Gloves, Matt.
Thanks. These gloves here are treated so that way you're able to hold incredibly hot things without actually burning yourself. I suggest you guys all get a pair. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is get the frame off of this. These iPhone 6 frames are notorious for being incredibly difficult. Just want to free the sides up here before I try getting all this free. There we go. See it come loose there. Same on this side. Alright. Make sure you don't damage the connections, and you want to also make sure you never push too hard on this here. Otherwise, you could break your LCD. Alrighty, so it definitely is going to need to be heated. It's not uncommon to have to heat it up a few times. It is like crazy stuck on there, so as much heat as possible will not hurt. You want to keep it though at a range about, you want it to be about 175-ish. You see it cooled down there from the initial start. So I'll let it get back up there a few minutes here, and we'll go again at this. Alright guys, I'm back. Let's give this another shot here. That's crazy. Seeing this, Ken?
Yeah, Matt, I'm seeing it. Editing the video now. Looks good though, bro. Keep up the good work.
Alright. So now what I'm going to do here is just put it back down there on the tray, now that I finally got that out. Let it heat up a little bit more, and I'm going to actually take the backlight here off and separate it from the LCD. Then I'm going to desolder it from right here. Get this set up to actually take the LCD off. Alrighty guys, back again. Here we go. Now we're going to actually remove the backlight itself from here. So what I find is best to do in this situation is you want to just go under this or this corner, whichever one you feel more comfortable with, just to start it. And you want to make sure that you get all the layers of the backlight. There are multiple layers, and it's okay if you see them kind of, separated from each other a little bit. Don't freak out. What you want to see is the reflective mirror-like back of the LCD. You want to get right between the two and separate the adhesive that runs all along the edges of the backlight, holding it down to the LCD. Use a playing card for this, and you always want to make sure you never push too hard. want to make sure you don't touch the back of the backlight itself. You don't want to get any fingerprints or anything, but as you can see, they are now separated. Now what we need to do is get the little solder connection right there and desolder it from the LCD itself. Alright guys, so now what we're going to do is actually the process of desoldering this connection right here. It's covered up by some anti-conductive tape here, so you just want to make sure you peel that off without actually damaging those connections. And also, before I do this, you're going to see in the end of that last clip there, I forgot to put this card between the backlight and the LCD. You want to make sure that you put a card between those two because the adhesive can, kind of catch back down, end up getting stuck back down there, you risk damaging it at that point. So always make sure you have something in there, keeping them separated. Right, I'm just going to use this soldering gun here. You want to get it around 440 degrees Celsius. Then all you got to do, take one of these spudgers, slide it under there, just like that. Boom. It's that easy. So now, as you'll see here, see the tape actually caught down a little bit up here. That's what I was talking about. But there we go. We have them separated. That little thing there is what you want to get off from right there. Alrighty, Ken, here you go. Got the backlight off.
Hey, thanks, man. Alright guys, so what we're going to do, since there's some cracks in this right there, we're going to throw some tape over just to hold these pieces together. Then we're going to throw it down here and we're going to heat it back up. Alright, let's get to it. This will give the clamp something to grab onto and hold here in its place. It'll also keep the panels of glass that are broken together and stop them from floating around as we slice and dice. Alright. Alright, while we're waiting for this to cook up some more, let's go over some of the tools we're going to use for this. We have some molybdenum, or whatever that word is, wire. Looks like this. What we're going to do is slide it down here on the glass, try to go in from the right angle, putting pressure down on these two metal bars. So it keeps the wire and us aligned perfectly, so we're not slicing into the layers of the LCD or catching the polarizer filter, which hopefully doesn't happen. Yeah, kind of looks like a mafia-esque, you owe me money, iPhone. So yeah, there are some of the tools we're going to be using. Again, I have this set up to about 85 degrees Celsius right now, and it's, where's my tool? There it is. It's at about 160 Fahrenheit. We're going to wait till it gets up to about 175 and then we're going to start slicing into it. So I'll be right back. Let's get cutting. I'm going to put these here gloves on. That wire is really sharp, and basically use your thumbs to put the pressure down on it. To rest it on these bars again. Starting in the top right corner, putting pressure on this bar. And just, rocking it right to left, slicing motion. I have to lift that up over that piece of glass. You don't want to lift up too much because you're going to risk getting the polarizer filter. But from this angle, it looks like we're good. Alright, now, this is where it can take some time, so Gonna do some movie magic. Alright, looks like we got through that. What you want to do is lift up from the bottom, gently rock it left to right until you free the top. You don't want to slice past this point. Right there. You don't want to slice past that. That little gap there, you don't want that wire to go in between. But otherwise, we look good. And this is why you don't want to, because you'll slice into this connection area here. Alright, so it looks like we got that off. Now all we got to do is clean it up. Alright guys, I'm back. Look at this dirty screen. Ew. A lot of people have problems getting that off without damaging the LCD or the digitizer. And, well, this is where you're going to hear a secret. NAPHTA. NAPHTA. You can grab it out of any local Home Depot or Lowe's. It's a paint thinner or a paint remover based product. Believe it or not, doesn't damage the LCD. Alright, so what we're going to do is use our little dripper here to soak it. You'll see it puddle up. You want to soak the screen, lather it. Make sure there's like a puddle building up on that screen. Looks good. Alright, we're going to let that sit for about a minute or two, and then we're going to use our plastic razor blade to simply and easily remove some of that optical adhesive. Alright guys, I'll see you in a couple minutes. Movie magic. Alright, it's been a few minutes. Let's see how easy this starts to come off. Alright, see, that wasn't so bad. Now what we're going to do is use a little bit of that NAPHTA again. And then we're going to use our napkin here to clean it up. And this time we're just going to use some alcohol. Polish it and try to clean off some of the NAPHTA. We don't want any NAPHTA on this screen when we're installing the new glass. It'll eat away at the LOCA, liquid optical clear adhesive. So the alcohol cleans this away. Polishing it. Look at that. It's beautiful. I mean, a little clean up right beforehand, but it's gorgeous. Alright, check this out.
Hey guys, Matt here. Alright, so now we're going to begin the process of actually bonding the LCD to the glass. Right here we just have a pretty much a junk backlight. It's basically just a placement holder for this frame we have here to actually glue the backlight to the glass. So we just put that in there as a filler, and we actually lay it this way because it's much easier to clean afterwards because we just reuse this. So definitely take a look into doing that with yours. What I want to do is set the LCD down in here. There we go. Cool. So now if you see what I just did here, I actually tucked this over the backlight, just like it would actually be if it were already assembled. So So you're going to want to make sure you have it that way. Get it to sit in here. There we go. And give it another polishing here. Get it as clean as you possibly can, because you want it to look good. You need a little bit of alcohol here. Whoops, there. Okay. Intermission real quick. All right, here we go. Woohoo! Get a little alcohol there. This is 99% alcohol solution, so it's definitely what I would recommend to use. So we'll use here a quick fix. There we go. All right. So what we have here is liquid optical clear adhesive, LOCA for short. It's what we use to bond the screen to the glass. Get this thing open here. Oh man, this thing is stuck in here. There we go. They seal these really tight. Oh man, there we go. Some suction on there. All right, here we have it. Voila. So basically, what we're gonna do here first, so I'm gonna remove the back film off of this screen, because you definitely don't want to forget that that's on there. Put the screen right here. All right, this is our UV lamp right here, which we're actually going to use to cure the optical. So to start off, we're going to make 2 dams on either end. Now you want to let it cure for about 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. That's all you need to let it sit in there. You just want it to cure just enough to form a nice solid stability for when you fill it in with the rest. So you want to make kind of like a wishbone shape here. Like that. Bubbles are a pain, but it's okay. Now, we're going to actually lay the glass on here. I want to make sure it's lined up. Now gently let it down. You want to make sure it touches down there first and works its way up from there. There we go. All right. From this point, you want to make sure that you have the screen secured right there. You don't want it to pop up. You don't want anything to come loose. But then you can slowly kind of apply a slight amount of pressure and work all the bubbles out. All right. So now what we're going to do is put it back in here. Let it cure for about 5 to 10 minutes there. We'll come back when the process is completed.
All right, it's only been about 2 or so minutes since Matt put this away, but what I'm gonna do is go ahead and get it out of here, And it's been enough time to where the LCD isn't going to move around. It's not going to fall out. It's pretty solid still at this point. I want to push it out from the back side. Bang. Now remember, this backlight is a faux backlight. So we're just going to leave that there. It's easier to clean when it dries. And we're just going to put this inside without that frame. Reason being, you don't want it to completely dry in here. Then when you go to take it out, shatters, breaks, mess. Don't need that. So there you go. See you in about 8 minutes. All right, it's been a little while. Let's check it out. All right, so first thing we're gonna want to do, we're gonna want to separate that old, no good, dirty, rotten, lousy backlight. Look at that, easy peasy. All you gotta do is wipe that down, use it as a stencil again. No problem. Take your Sesamo, or you could use your fingernail if you don't mind getting dirty. Run that along the edges. You want to lift the cables up. Make sure you get the little puddles under there. Alright, now it's just a little rubbing with alcohol and it should just come right off. You want to make sure you get all of it out from underneath these cables here. It does puddle up pretty well. Alright, that looks pretty good. Maybe once more. You know what really helps get the back of this looking really good again? Naphtha. What? No, don't do it. Nope, it'll look fine. You don't want to soak it this time. You don't want to cause a big puddle. You really don't even want to let it get to the edges. Just want to use it to brush the back of this. Looks like we got all that residue off of there. Looks really good. One more time with the alcohol to make sure no naphtha stays behind. All right, now that that looks nice and clean, I'm sure we could polish it up a little bit more, but for the time's sake of the video, let's go ahead and get the backlight installed on here.
Alrighty guys, I'm back here again. Gonna show you how to resolder the backlight. Here it is. I just kept it in some bubble wrap here with a card covering the majority of it to make sure, you know, no marks, no any blemishes or anything gets on it. Still looks pretty good. Cool. So what you're gonna want to do it first here. Ooh, it's all right. Don't worry about it if that happens. Just get it lined up. Go. Slide it into place there. And you're going to want to make sure that the connectors up here for the actual backlights themselves are in place. Alright, cool. Looks pretty good to me. So let's get a move on it. I'm going to use the soldering gun, once again at 440 degrees Celsius. Good. Alright. So what I'm actually going to do here, hold that down there. I'm going to actually make sure that the 3 strips on here are aligned with the 3 strips on there. You just want to solder them down. Boom. That easy. We'll touch each of them. Reconnects them. Alright. Cool. As you see, it's connected there. That's what you're looking for. You don't want to see any browning or anything like that. That means that you're burning it a little bit there and oxidizing it. Just a touch is all you need. There we have it.
All right, Matt, thanks for doing the backlight for me there. Obviously, it's working. This is, again, our tester device, but as you can see, there is backlight. Matt really hooked us up. Thanks, bro. All right, touch. Touch still seems to be working. All right, so last step after this is to clean it up a little bit more and install the frame that holds it into the housing. I'll clean it up. I'll be right back. Okay, so everything tests out. Backlight works, LCD digitizer, everything still works. The optical adhesive is bonded to the glass. Everything's ready to go. All we got to do is clean up the glass that is still exposed so we can glue down the frame to that using B7000 adhesive. Shh, that's a secret. So I'm just going to rip a piece off, fold it over the flat end of my spudger, get a little alcohol in there, just run it along the edge. That'll really dry up any leftover residue from the optical adhesive. Make sure you get under the cables. And everything should be ready to go. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is set this aside and set the adhesive on the frame itself. Some prefer to do it the opposite. I prefer to do it this way. It's already broken, but that shouldn't matter. We're just gonna run our adhesive along the edge here. And since it's broken down here, we want to make sure we do this real well. This is why this is my go-to. It has the applicator right there and the needle that keeps it from drying up and staying clogged. All right, now that we have that all in there, we just got to go ahead and seat this in. Whew. I'm always afraid of getting myself glued to one of these, but it dries really fast, so all you got to really do is hold it in place for a couple seconds even, and it ain't never gonna budge ever. Okay. Now it has that frame on it here that'll hold it into the housing of the iPhone 6. Let's just wait for that to dry a little bit more, but seems like we're all ready to go ahead and install it into our phone. You know what? Where is that phone? There we go. See? Perfect. iPhone 6 LCD refurb done by Quick Fix Smartphone and Tablet Repair. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and most of all importantly, please share this with your friends. All right, guys, have a great day. We did good, Matt, didn't we?
We did.